Oh, what is up, Browns fans, on this sunny, cold Northeast Ohio day? It is me, Angel. I'm with Mike and my boy Sam.
Why ain't your boy?
Up, y'all.
Oh, well, I guess mine. He's like, I know him first. He was my friend first. We're about to get in a fist fight of who's going to own Sam after this podcast. But
I ain't a cheap slave labor. I'll tell you that. It costs a little money to get me.
Nonetheless, we are here this morning, and we're not going to talk draft, even though we did a little bit of draft talk before the show. We're not going to talk anything. We're going to talk about Cleveland's favorite son, Baker Mayfield. Today's special player spotlight is going to be on him. But first, before we get into our favorite quarterback ever that donned a Cleveland Browns uniform, let's talk about car or auto insurance or any type of insurance. You know, Doug White, Allstate Insurance Agency, is located in 8020 Columbia Road, Olmsted Falls. He's been there for a very long time serving the community. Give him a call at 440-235-8500. For all your insurance needs, you can get a quote on life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, all the insurance you need. You can go to Doug White. If you do, please let him know that you heard it here on the Bearded Browns podcast. Lastly, if you need a nice beard like me, Mike, and Sam, please go to beardgains.com. That's beardgains.com. Check out their beard care products. And when you get a checkout, use the code Bearded Browns at checkout, the promo code, and you'll save 10%. And all orders over $35 ship free. If not, you pay like $8 for shipping. And $8 will get you this nice little, $10-12 will get you this nice little beard oil to help your beard grow. Speaking of which,
Get on it.
I will be on vacation next Saturday, heading to Florida, and I'm gonna need a beard trim before then. So I might hit up that place in Berea. What's it called?
Lego Heads.
Lego Heads. Yes, I might hit up them for a little beard trim. But nonetheless, please go to beardgains.com and use our promo code to. Let them know.
Use it now.
That you heard it here at look at our beards. Like if we weren't beard experts, we would not have beards, and we would not tell you.
Beard, man. I am not impressed with my beard this morning. I rolled out of bed and did not care.
Dude, I had old man issues yesterday, and I couldn't sleep, so I was up till late, and then I woke up early, and then I was like, I need to do my beard. Took me 5 minutes.
Yes.
Crazy. I went to bed early. But I woke up at 1:30 and was up. So I moved on to the couch and was up to like 3.
Playing Call of Duty?
No, it's just I got a lot going on. I got Tree Guys coming today, so if I do step away from the show, I got Tree Guys coming, and of course it's going to be right when we're probably ready to hit main topics. But also we got some pretty dope new business cards.
Yes, business cards. Those are
Hit the scan on the back and just take you to all the sites. Nice business cards here, man.
It's aesthetically beautiful too.
I was finally able to meet up with Sam. I just got to meet up with Angel now. We're good.
Yeah.
They're still warm.
Sorry, man.
Still warm.
They're still warm. Also, too, Mike, don't we have another announcement about where we're going to be in March?
Yeah, March 30th is a Sunday. We will be at the Piston Power Cup at the IX Center. Me, Angel, and Sam are doing a show from 11 till 2 p.m. Everybody that's going there, feel free to stop by, say hi to us, maybe even jump on the show for a little bit and BS some stuff with us. And it's going to be a fun time. We got we'll be there with Redline Network. Our friends over there will be there as well. They're doing a show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Their Sunday show will be their Pittsburgh show, so I'm sure there'll be fisticuffs. But it's going to be fun. So,
I'm excited for that for sure. We'll get there early and set up.
It's going to be pretty dope. I usually go. I don't say I go every year, but I've been the last couple of years. That's usually pretty good time down there, and all the cool cars, of course. So definitely a cool thing, man. Glad to be a part of it.
A warning for today's show, everybody. This is the Baker Bro Show. Does not mean that we're going to sit here and kiss Baker's ass this entire show. We're going to point out the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. That's just how it worked. Angel, do you want to start us off, man?
Yeah, we're gonna get into Baker Mayfield coming in to the pre-draft. There's some. I went back and I thought to myself, well, what were people saying about Baker coming out of the draft? Because now we can kind of compare what was said about him and what he is now. So I went to PFF's website, and they had this about him. PFF is respectable. At least on our podcast, we liked him. It says Mayfield is tough, fiery competitor with a playmaker mentality. He has a quick delivery and enough arm strength to drive the ball with velocity and hit passes on the seam. In 2017, his deep ball accuracy play from the pocket improved, and it appeared his arm strength did too. There are a few balls that Mayfield missed on. His tape shows a smart, quick thinking quarterback who can make reads and get the ball out on time. His touch accuracy will remind you of Drew Brees at times. Despite not being tracked fast, Mayfield uses his legs well and can extend the plays. He has a thick frame, and can take hits. Mayfield is coming out. Now, here's something I found very interesting for all those that are worried, and it kind of changed my mind on quarterbacks coming out of college this year that might be under spread offense. Mayfield is coming out of a spread offense, but scouts and coaches rave about his football IQ and overall intelligence. Thoughts on his positives, folks?
Honestly, we saw what happened with Baker when he came in that Jets game, man, and that was everybody fell in love with him that day. We all did. We all bought jerseys. I have 2. His positives were great. Every one of them that you said, every time that he did something great, it was great. And Angel rolled out on that. There was just a lot of negatives as well that went with that, right, Sam? I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, and that to me was the I call it the becoming of the star was that Jets game. I mean, I think as a Browns fan, that did it for a lot of us because I remember where I was at. I was working out of town in Columbus, man, and we were down 14-0, and next thing you know, Tyrod Taylor goes down with a concussion, and comes Baker, man, and first drive he gets us down there for that 3 points, and going to a half, man. And man, like I said, we ended up winning that game, and that was a big thing, man. So that's where I started having my Baker moments.
Yeah, that I think won the whole city over, to be honest. Gotta send Angel a new one here.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, you know how it goes here on the show. Technical difficulties every time.
All good.
It seems we've been good for a while.
Yeah, I'll keep chatting it up. So like that game was that was an amazing game to watch, man. We get to crack open the coolers. Like I said, being down 14-0, and he made a comeback. I don't think, although there was not one touchdown pass thrown in that, there was 2 Carlos Hyde runs. There was a pass to Baker from Jarvis Landry for the 2-point conversion.
Can you imagine how that screwed up Las Vegas, dude?
yeah. Which was that was pretty dope. But that was a star was born in Cleveland on that comeback game there. Angel's back. What's up, buddy? We got him back.
Hey, yeah, that was not Streamlad's fault. That was mine. I clicked the wrong side of my screen, pulling up my notes. But nonetheless, lesson learned. My bad, guys.
All good.
Yeah, so you can kind of see some positive, some growth from where his positives are. There's some truth. He did use his legs, though he wasn't as quick. He still uses his legs to make plays. He's learned to come out of the spread offense into a regular under center offense, so that's possible for a quarterback to do. Also, too, I didn't know he had a high football IQ and overall intelligence, which speaks about why he's doing so well currently with his 19,000 different offensive coordinator. So that is the knock on Mayfield's career so far, is that he's had like so many different offensive coordinators. He's never had someone consistent, but he's still enduring that. Now here's a couple of negatives that they had wrote down. Mayfield comes out and the NFL's under NFL's ideal size threshold of 6 foot and 5/8 inches. Here's some off the field issues they wrote, which I find it interesting that if they can't find enough about you coming out of college as far as your game, they're going to look somewhere else. He was arrested in 2017 for public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and attempting to run from the police. I remember that video. He got tackled. You guys remember he was trying to run from the police and they tackled? Yeah, he did.
I actually, that's the first time I heard that. But
really?
Really? I go with the if you haven't been picked up for running or something like that once in your life, are you really American? So go ahead.
Well,
yes, I just happen to get away every time. That's all.
That's how you get your badges, man. I've played hide and seek. Yeah, usually don't work out too well once they do catch up to you. They always go catch up to you. So don't run, kids.
Yeah. So when you get time, look up that video. It is funny. But you can tell he's drunk. He's drunk, and the cop he tried to run, and the cop just knew right away, hit him, done. Mayfield. We've seen this during his last year at Oklahoma. His on the field issues where he got caught on camera yelling obscenities across the field and grabbing his crotch, gesturing at Kansas players. Some scouts were rubbed the wrong way when he planted the flag at the Ohio State University after they beat Ohio State and Columbus. The Sooners' scheme was tailor-made for Mayfield and gave him a huge passing window. It got him on the edge of the formation to see better routes, which I think he's grown from since then. I think he's no longer rolling out the pocket to make plays, which he did here. So credit to Mayfield for growth in that area. Plays hero ball and will make off-balance throws that can sail.
I'm going to play this police video real quick. Sam, do you have it pulled up on your tablet so you can see it? You're not going to be able to hear it.
Yeah, go ahead. I got it.
You're not going to be able to hear it, but it's just funny to watch. Hold on.
No, introduce it.
We're not going to be able to talk either during it because I'm going to go through.
I'll introduce it real quick. This is the longest incomplete pass in the NFL at 70.5 yards.
Oh, we can do that one. I was going to play the one that getting arrested.
Yeah.
Hold on, no, we'll play that one. We got plenty of stuff pulled up here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We'll do his arresting video first. Let's do that because this is it's funny. So hold on, you guys aren't gonna be able to hear it or see it, I don't believe, but it's funny. Watch this.
I'm on a hell of a delay. Mine just pulled up. Give me a view. It just pulled up.
There's a lot of cussing in it too. Like Baker's asking.
Oh baby.
He got hit
against that wall, dog. Against that concrete.
He got sacked by the police.
He got sacked. That dude. He got hit hard. When he got hit and then hit the wall, dude. That was.
I'm surprised they didn't break some ribs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna rate that. That's an F, bro. I got way further than that. I got way further than that.
So you could tell, like in the video, he's probably like, "I'm good, bro. No, I'm not drunk. I'm not." And there's like, "Come here," and he's like, "Try it." He did his decision to run was so slow. The cop took an angle right away. He's like, "This dude's gonna run," so he took that angle. So Baker's like. Slow boom, and then got hit.
He wasn't like Johnny Manziel that could play good when he was drunk.
Yeah, true.
Supposedly.
Looking at that and watching his slow takeoff speed, I'm sure you heard the Flintstone steps in the back. And then, you ain't even going nowhere. All that movement, you ain't going nowhere, dog.
What's up, Rob? Thanks for joining the show, buddy.
Somebody needs to dub that over the video and then repost it. That's funny. Well, yeah. So he had off the field issues. So this is one thing. A couple of things. Well, his scouting grade is a 7 coming out of college, and he was being compared to Casey Keenum coming out of college, which I think he kind of exceeded that a little bit. They said Mayfield is a polarizing prospect given his size and off the field issue, but he is also the most accurate. Listen. What I'm saying here, he is the most accurate passer in the draft and a natural playmaker with his legs. In the right scheme, he should be able to start early in his pro career. one of the things you cannot teach as a quarterback is accuracy. So when I read this, I don't need to bring up the draft because I promise you we wouldn't have brought it up, and I'm going to bring it up anyways because it is our show. When you read these scouting and you pull up Shador Sanders and put them side by side, there's a lot of similarities. So I say that because it seemed like the regime at the time loved Baker. I don't think, obviously, the regime at this time didn't. That's why they got rid of him. So I wouldn't be too surprised that they passed on Shador because of certain attributes that he has. But he is the most accurate passer in this draft. So I wouldn't be too surprised that they do draft him. But according to some scouts coming out saying that the Browns are not interested in quarterback at number 2, but we shall see. But Baker had a good college career. Believe it or not, he had 48 games played for 14,607 yards, 31 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I did not know this, but 2015, he was fourth in the Heisman voting. 2016, he was third in the Heisman voting. In 2017, he won the Heisman Trophy.
As a walk-on.
As a walk-on each year, correct, yes. So he went to Texas Tech, played there, transferred to Oklahoma as a walk-on, played there, and was in a Heisman voting every year. Good college quarterback there, man. I didn't realize he was that that good coming out of Oklahoma. Their spread offense, he seemed to adjust well in the NFL game. And like you guys talked about, he came right in and started winning for the Browns.
Yeah, the year he won the Heisman, he also won the Maxwell Award, the Walter Camp Award, the Davey O'Brien Award, the Manning Award, the Chick Harley Award, Earl Campbell, Tyler Rose Award, AP College Football Player of the Year Award, SN Player of the Year Award, unanimous All-American. That's just in 2017. Third time first team All Big 12. I mean, collegiate-wise.
A lot of accolades there.
Yeah, and also Shador plays in the Big 12, so there's another parallel there.
Right.
But so during the draft process, he said a couple of things that allowed some Cleveland fans to jump on him. I know it was a bit mixed bag when it came to him coming into the draft. Some fans wanted him, some fans didn't. I was one of them that didn't because I was afraid of his size, but he did for sure. He did for sure exceed my expectations of him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know we say we're not gonna show a lot of love, but in the beginning we will, because when Baker came in as a Brown, we were like 1-31, and this dude was winning, right? So it was easy to change the culture from a 1-31 team in this first year, won 7 games. So we were like, Super Bowl next year, dog. We just won 6 more games than we've done the last 2 years. This is great. What was your guys' feeling on draft day when they drafted him? Did you guys want Baker? Did you want? I know Darnold was a top guy. The guy I wanted from Buffalo. Why is his name skipping my mind? Josh Allen. Yeah, that's who I wanted. Though a lot of mocks, scouting saying that he had a lot of issues with accuracy, and they were worried about the competition he was playing because he was at North Dakota. A lot of talk about basically what Shador is right now, Buffalo's competition. But what was your guys' feeling leading up to the draft, and who did you want it with that number 1 pick?
Go ahead, Sam.
I really wasn't deep involved as far as, man, we could get this guy, that guy. I just know that after watching losing seasons, I was ready for any breath of fresh air. And it seemed like at that time, that draft, no matter who we got, that new guy was going to be on the bench because we had other quarterbacks, qualified quarterbacks that were going to start over. Tyrod Taylor. That's who he came in for Baker. But so I was just like, when I first seen Baker and I seen his stature, for some reason, I went, please don't be another fucking Manziel. Please don't be a Manziel. So, and I said, and if he's not that, that's okay. But then when he came in on that game, when they cracked them coolers up and everybody was dilly in Cleveland, it was something to watch, man. I'm like, hey, we might have something here. So that's when I was like, all right, man, a star's born here in Cleveland. Let's see what this kid can do. Get at it.
Yeah.
So I was fine. I was fine with whoever they drafted. I just wanted somebody to be decently good. And Baker, when he came out, he seemed to bring that. So it was good to see.
I was kind of skeptical at first. Even when he got drafted, you seen the Cleveland Browns fans at the thing were like, "Oh man, why?" And I obviously you watched the kid play, and he has heart. That's one thing that will never go away with Baker Mayfield. The kid has heart. He has talent, but with his height, I think is another issue. That just is proven with multiple quarterbacks. Ken says Shador did more with less. Baker was a great pick. His ego was the problem. Baker was a heads and tails better than Tyrod. He was an idiot.
Yeah,
Hugh
and
Jackson
you can
wasn't.
tell. You can tell on the Hard Knocks when he pulled him in. It's like, "Hey Baker, well, I got bad news for you. Good news, you made the team, but you're going to be a backup." And you can tell, like Baker's like, "Dude, I'm the first pick of the NFL draft. You think they're going to keep me in the back?" Yeah, it's fine. But the way Hugh presented it was like, "Hey, I'm in control here. You're going to ride the back." They played it like some pansy scheme to the game. I was annoying. Yeah. Hey, Sam, you did bring up a good point. Maybe subconsciously, at least I can only speak for me. I was worried about Baker because it was after the Manziel trauma. And maybe subconsciously I was more, when I looked at Baker, I really saw Manziel. And I was kind of judging him based on someone else's action. So that's actually a good point. So maybe that trauma really affected me. Maybe I should went to therapy for it more.
Right. Well, it's a point to make, and like you said, you felt the same way too. So I mean, we got three guys out of here. So 2 out of 3 had that same thought. So it was there. I'm sure we weren't the only ones, bro.
Sam's actually got something to go over with too. Josh Allen being one of the other guys in the draft, and Cleveland fans are so hyped up on getting Johnny Manziel still to this day. Or I'm sorry, Johnny Manziel. Wow, Josh Allen to this day. So we have this here from StatHead, MVP versus mid. You got that pulled up there, Sam?
I'm about to grab it right now.
It's kind of funny. I mean,
I got it. I'm looking at it.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, so they both played 17 games. I mean, look at the comparisons here. I mean,
they both played 17 games. The quarterback record: Baker 10-17, Allen 13-4. Completion rate: Baker 71.4, Josh Allen 63.6. Passing yards: Baker 4,500. Josh Allen 3,731. Passing yard attempts 7.7. Baker 7.9. Passing yards per game 219.5. That was Allen's. Baker's is 264 per game. Passing touchdowns: Allen 28, Baker 41. Especially after the last couple of years playing in Tampa, that's exploded. Interception 6, Baker 16, which has always been an issue with them. Quarterback rate: Allen 101, Baker 106. So if you put them head to head, what do we see statistically?
Besides the interceptions, Baker looks pretty hot on that, So
Baker leads 7 of the stats when being compared to now. We can also say that Baker's done this with like 8. I think he's on his 8th offensive coordinator right now. 8th or 9th, I believe. But yeah, that was shocking when Sam sent that over. I'm like, man, he the last couple of years he compares well to Josh Allen because he's been in a place where they put good talent around him. Godwin is good, and their tight end is good. Their defense is pretty stellar, and he's being consistent over there in Tampa.
Ken did ask how many rushing touchdowns did they both have. I'm looking at Baker Mayfield's right now. Looks like he's had 10. And then you had that one receiving touchdown. Right. Let's see how many rushing.
Josh Allen's got that for sure. He's got to.
Yeah, Josh Allen has to have that by a large margin.
Yeah, not taken away from any. Allen's legs are not just a comparison. I was just seeing a comparison and 12. Yeah, 2 more.
Is it close? Oh, he only 2 more? Wow.
10 and 12. And then you got that receiving
that's-
touchdown from Juice.
It was a 2-point conversion on that.
Yeah.
That was and then in the Jets game to give them to tie it up 14-14, which was pretty dope, man. Like I hate to go back to that game, but that was my sparkling moment. But it was 14-0. I was in Columbus working with 3 of my roofing buddies, and we had the first half at a bar in Columbus. Real quick story, and we were drinking our beers. Good crowd. We had to work the next day. I think that was a Thursday night football game, something like that. So we, had a break camp, man. Shots started flowing. I'm like, we got to get out of here. Plus, we're getting our butts spanked. Let's just go back to the hotel. I got back to the hotel, and that's when the Baker came in before that half. And I looked at my buddy, and at that first drive, and we kicked that field goal. I looked at my buddy. I go, dog, we're gonna win this game. He's like, ain't no way, dog. I'm like, I don't know. This Baker's already out here slinging, looking like that Brett Favre slinging. I said, this dude's gonna come back and win this game. Watch. And then we did. We had 2 calls from the management to be quiet. We were at a really nice hotel, and then the last one was a knock at the door at the 2-minute, and the last 2 minutes, man. And I said, hey, man, it's just me and my dude. We'll knock it off. We're going to bed. We got to get up early tomorrow. We appreciate it. He goes, I'm a Browns fan too, but I got a job to do. I'm like, all right, you come on in. You're a beer. He's like, I can't do that. But anyway, yeah, I remember that. I remember that distinctly. So just wanted to shout that out.
Yeah. So, I remember that actually excited the whole city, the whole downtown. I think we had a little parade down there when they opened up all those beers. It was pretty amazing to see. It was a breath of fresh air after all those continuously just losing. And then it's not just winning that game. It was just hope, right? Because when we saw Baker play and we saw the way he played, like you said, he was slinging it. He looked comfortable. We thought, wow, there is a chance that we can have a good quarterback here, especially with the talent at the time he had around him with Landry and OBJ, Chubb. I mean, and Njoku. Like there was some type of team forming there. Little did we know it was going to explode later. But 2018, his season, the play, he was great. He was pretty good. They went 7-8-1. That one tie was against Pittsburgh. He had leadership moments on the field and off the field, and Cleveland ushered in a new signal color under center in 2018. It was a good year. You go from 1 win in 2 years, and then 7 wins that year. A lot of fans came into the 2019 season feeling very optimistic.
I got to fix myself really quick, guys. Baker Mayfield's had 10 rushing touchdowns his entire career.
Oh.
Josh Allen has had 65.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Like,
there's 12?
He's only had 12 this year.
Yeah, because in the beginning of his career, a lot of knock on Allen was he's running too much. And a lot of it's because of his goal line. So, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yes,
Right,
I thought it too. That's why I kept on looking. James, thanks for joining us. He's at work. He says he was in a halfway house watching that game with a bunch of Jets fans. He talked all the trash.
Yeah. So going back to that game, I remember the Browns were favored because they had Tyrod Taylor playing. They were a better team because of the talent they had around them. I think they were like 3-point favorites because they were at home, and we were getting down early, pretty quick. The offense didn't look comfortable. It didn't look seamless. A lot of fans were like, you could just tell, like, here we go again. We're going to lose at home. And when Tyrod went out with I think his wrist injury, Baker came in, the fans were just ignited. And obviously you can see that we won that game. Mayfield continues as a starting quarterback in 2019. He posts solid individual stats and highlights the team experience up and downs on the field. The season was marked by both promising plays, growing playing, setting the foundation for future expectations. I really don't remember too much about the 2019 season. I'll be honest with you. I think they had a winning record, right? I forgot to write that down.
Their record, 2021?
2019.
Oh, 19.
I'll pull it up real quick.
I got it. 6-10.
6-10. Wow. Oh, so that
was his first full year after a full camp.
Full year. And that's with Hugh Jackson. They ended up firing. And then toward the end of the season, it was Freddie Kitchen year. That's who it was. Freddie Kitchen came in, and they thought, Freddie Kitchen was going to be a good coach, and sad to say that he was not ready for the NFL. So going back to the year 2020, do you remember that Pittsburgh game? Was it? I know he had a shirt on that said Pittsburgh started it because Miles hit.
That's right. That's right.
That is when I knew it was over. When he was in the movie theater and a fan came up to him and started talking to him, he was talking trash about Pittsburgh, and he had the shirt Pittsburgh started it on as a coach. That's not professional. I knew it was he was done for. I just knew it. 2020 was the breakthrough year, though. 2020 changed everything that we knew about the Browns because we hired a coach, Kevin. We had a new GM in Andrew Berry. Kevin came in with his system, helped Baker Mayfield adjust, and the team finishes 11-5. Yep. That was a year in which we thought we would win the Super Bowl twice since then. We thought we were we thought we were going places. We had 11-5. Baker looked great. Finished winning the AFC North division title. We didn't win the division title. No, we went to the wild card. Baker played a pivotal.
Won the wild card game.
Yeah. Baker played a pivotal role, leading the Browns to the first playoff and ending the long drought since 2002. Which you remember that Pittsburgh game, that playoff game in 2020? No one was in the field, obviously, because it's COVID.
Dude. I was hyped the whole game, and we were demolishing these guys. And as a Browns fan, I'm like,
you were enjoying.
I'm not gonna get too hype because this is our Browns, dude. So I had to calm me down, man. I'm like, the wife's like, we were not even married at the time. She's like, man, I can't believe we're doing so good. I'm like, we got to keep the gas pedal down. I said, because this can come around, and I've seen it. I've seen it once and twice and three times. But, I mean, that first play, that Pouncey, I believe, miscue on the snap, goes in the end zone. Browns Miles recovers it. And there went that. I'm like, and we kept putting it on them too, man. By halftime, I'm like,
it was a
is this real?
And a playoff game going into halftime.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was a great game. That was my Super Bowl.
The rivalry. I cried. I'm not kidding. I cried, and then the next day I wrote like a 2-page story about how my Browns fandom is real, and I'm a little bitch. And I knew we were gonna.
Were you in the shower?
I had a bottle of whiskey in one hand.
Your wife was consoling you. It's like, we get it, Mike. We get it. And you're like,
he had that song all by myself playing in the shower. Like, I'm a Browns fan, baby.
And then when we lost, I sang in the shower. I was like, let it go.
Yeah,
let it go.
Let it go.
So it was.
That's good, Mike. That's good.
That game was just. I mean, from the beginning, they in the halftime, like Mike said, was the biggest deficit. It was 35-10 at halftime. And you were like, dude, we're about, and again, at the same time as Brown trauma, we experienced it. All of us do. We had, at least for me, I can't speak for you guys, but it seemed like you guys agreed, like, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. And in the second half, Pittsburgh scores 27 points and we only scored 13. So it was like,
I remained humble that whole game, man. I really did, man. I didn't want to crawl out of my skin and get too excited because I didn't want to. If it goes another direction, I don't want to be having my head down for the next 2 weeks. Like,
my cheek was tight in the fourth quarter, man. My cheeks were tight. It was 42-23, then 42-29, 45-29, 48-29. And then 48-37. So it was like, I know we got a double-digit lead, but come on, man. You guys got to pull this off. This is going to be insane. And it ended up being a good game. And Baker went 21 for 34, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 sacks, by the way, which I did not know. And Chubb only had 76 yards on 18 carries, which average was 4 yards per game. But Kareem Hunt was a killer. He had 8 carries, 48 yards, which is average 6 yards per game, and 2 touchdowns.
I'll say something real quick. The end of that game was like a highlight and in my Browns days of watching this Browns team. And a big highlight for me was watching Pouncey console Roethlisberger
Yes.
after the game,
yes.
the game on the bench, bro,
Crying.
and just like I'm like, oh, that might be the end of that regime. That's a nice job, Browns. Let's get 'em,
I took
boys.
a picture of that, dude, and
Did
I
you?
posted it everywhere when that happened.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger with a tear falling down his cheek, man. I was like, thank you. Finally, you got raped. Sorry, that was a little.
Okay, so yeah, the Browns end up having 4 interceptions that game, 4 turnovers, and they had that fumble recovery in the end zone for the touchdown. They defensively were on par. Just a quick side note: do you know Taki was cut by the New England Patriots this past week?
Yeah,
No.
somebody said something on one of our pages about
I did.
Taki back.
Yes,
Was it you?
would you? Yeah, would you be interested in little Taki as linebacker?
Yeah,
He was okay here.
He was okay. He was
Yeah.
okay, but
He'd be a
he
good
was.
backup.
Dave, what is up? Thanks for joining us today, buddy.
What's up, Dave? He did seem to me he was on a lot of plays that like big plays. It seemed like he had a few, but it seemed like there was more against him. To me, that's why I loved him in the beginning because it seemed like he had his first season, I think second season, seemed like he was clicking. But I was a fan, and then I wasn't. I'm like, this dude's getting blown up. This dude's not sealing off the edge. I'm like, I was just done with him, man. When they said he had to go, I'm like, take it easy, buddy. Hopefully, you can do good somewhere else.
So the team finishes 11-5. They went to the playoffs that year. Didn't they lose against Kansas City that year after the wild card?
I think it was after that Pittsburgh game. Was that the same? It was the same one. We won Pittsburgh. We went on, and then we had to play the Chiefs that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the helmet game that ruined our year.
Pardon my French. Fuck you, Sorensen. Helmet to helmet bullshit down there. That's what started my whole. Hang
hatred.
on a second. That was my hatred to the Chiefs, dude. I'm like, you know what? How does it go one way? Because we had a helmet to helmet that game called. And then this gives us we have a chance to get a touchdown, and all of a sudden now it's the same thing, helmet to helmet, plain as day, no call. I'm like,
and then the next week it happened, and they called it on the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs. It happened to the Chiefs, and it got called for them in their favor.
Yeah, that was just that was my start of these dudes get all the calls by the refs on the Chiefs. Continue, gentlemen.
And then we went from a 11-5 win team, and you win your first playoff game, and you were one helmet hit away from going into the AFC championship game to probably even the Super Bowl, but to 2021-2022 season, which is titled Turbulence and Transition. So we experienced highs. We thought we were going to come in like Mayfield is going to be great. This team is going to be amazing. But then typical Brown fashion, everything falls. Browns finish 8-9 that year. And this is where Mayfield's fall from grace starts to happen, folks. Mayfield struggles with on-the-field performance, injuries, and off-the-field controversies. I don't know if you guys remember, but this is the OBJ year, right, where OBJ is having issues with the offense because he's not getting the ball. I remember one game in particular where Baker throws the ball to Harrison for a touchdown, and he's celebrating. And I remember him distinctly running across the field to OBJ and Landry. I'm envisioning this in my mind, and him not apologizing, but saying, "Hey, we'll get him next time, boys," because the two receivers are not celebrating with the team, but they're disappointed because they were wide open. Just Baker didn't see them in the end zone, and they didn't get their touchdown, aka stats. So, also. Not only that, but Mayfield starts to suffer a torn labrum in his left shoulder. It happened September 19th, a game after my birthday, by the way, with the win over the Texans. But he continued to play through it. October 17, 2021, Mayfield re-injures his left shoulder. Week 6 loss against the Cardinals. He was sidelined for one game, and then he decides to come back. Now, you guys remember what was happening in this time frame where the organization saying he's not ready to play. He's hurt. He might need surgery. And Baker's like, no, I'm good, man. I can play. And I remember him according to reports, taking a red eye from Cleveland to Green Bay to play in that game, which was crucial because I think it was at the time a position if you win, you position yourself better to get into the playoffs. So, and I think we just came off a win with Casey Keenum. Yep. Man, my sports memory is getting better.
Yeah, that's what Ken said that. He said 2021 Baker held us hostage with a stupid tackle and a shoulder injury against the Bears. It was the Texans. He played for his contract. He played us out of the playoffs. Case should have played that year. I agree, man. Wholeheartedly, I believe that Case Keenum should have played that year because you ruined your Cleveland career by being stubborn. And it sucks because, like we all wanted Baker in there, but unfortunately your injury was really affecting your game.
Yeah.
We didn't want to watch that. So you should have sat out that year. You would have remained around.
He was being selfish.
Yes.
That was him. That was all selfish, man. And I thought the years that we already had him, he was growing out of stuff like that. And then this kind of reared its ugly head, and I'm like, he's still not growing mentally on that. But you got to understand too, I guess, and I guess with his eyes, he's trying to get that contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're gonna put yourself in front of the way I looked at it was you're putting yourself above the whole team right now, and you hurt everybody, and it showed. So that was a turning point.
Yeah, and maybe he think hindsight, maybe, or he heard terms, maybe he heard the talk in the organization that they really didn't believe in him, that they're probably going to bring in competition because he wasn't what they wanted, which was silly to think after coming off an amazing season. But you have to understand that the organization saw that Kansas City game and saw Patty Mahomes and saw these quarterbacks that's just throwing the ball downfield, collecting points like crazy, and I don't think they really thought Mayfield might have been the guy. So they were going to offer him a huge contract, which either that or probably would have done something else with this contract with him. But either way, he hurt himself 100%. I wish he would have sat out. And obviously, he probably needed surgery then, but that game, I remember watching it at my mother-in-law's house, and me and my father-in-law was just mad, angry, depressed, sad. Because he was just horrible. He went 21 for 36, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions on Christmas Day. And they only lost 24-22. So if you would have had better quarterback play, you would have put yourself in a position to win.
Yeah, and watching that too, when he went to try to make that tackle, I knew right away something was bad. I mean, because his arm pretty much, when he reached out, his arm looked like if you took a car door and gave it a little more jerk the wrong way on a car door. And I remember that. And I go, oh, I knew right away. I seen that, and I seen how his arm went. I go, he's hurt. I know he's hurt.
And then that like leather thing that he kept on wearing over his shoulder, man, made his game off.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably was affecting his motion of throwing too. But then the next game against the Steelers, he went 16 for 38, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 16-14 loss. And then he was done for the season because the season was done. He lost back-to-back games, and that pushed you out of the playoff race, ultimately killing the season, going 8-9. Huge disappointment. And obviously the Browns going into the next year did what they did with Watson. Unfortunately, Baker caught wind of what was going on and then demanded a trade. It's like, I'm not playing with him. In hindsight, it's like, and it's easier said than done, I know. He should have just been like, cool. I mean, in college, I was the underdog. I came in and walk on, and I won the game. I won the position, the starting position. Coming in Oklahoma, I was a walk-on. I had to compete against these higher-starred athletes that came in better than me. I ended up winning. So I believe if you would have been having that mindset, was saying, listen, I'll stay and I'll compete with Watson, obviously, hindsight, it would have worked out for him because the Browns would have been in a position to, hey, we need you to play. Now, how they would have paid him, I have no clue because we wasted a ton of money on a quarterback that only played 9 games. But I wish I can go back in the future and just talk to Baker Mayfield and tell him, listen, I'm from the future. I'm gonna let you know it's gonna work out for you, bro. Just
Yeah,
stay
we got.
here, and
Yep.
we'll build a trophy for you because they're gonna compare you to this guy and compare you to this guy, and they're gonna worship you even more, bro. And then just
Right.
leave real quick, and
And
then
Marty
hopefully talk them into it.
hit him with the hit him with the
Yeah.
Marty McFly real quick.
He's like, "Let me show you this," and I would just
yeah.
show him like what happened and stuff. I'm like, "Look,
Just,
this is what you can do."
just gotta believe me. Who's that weird old guy next to you? He's a scientist. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, don't worry about him.
We're from the future.
But ultimately, Baker ends his career with the Browns with a 29-30 record, 92 touchdowns, 56 interceptions, 14,125 yards. On paper, you say, man, I thought he was better than that as far as wins, right? But then you go back to like, well, we haven't won so much. He won a lot more because we didn't win at all before he came on here.
Yeah. I'm going to hit this real quick. His 4 key games as a Cleveland Brown, November 24th, 2019, matchup against the Dolphins. Mayfield completed 24 of his 34 passing attempts for 327 yards, 3 touchdowns, interception. Cleveland wound up winning that game 41-24.
He's had quite a few 300-yard games.
Yes. November 25th, 2018, against the Bengals. During this massive outing, Mayfield shredded the AFC North rivals, banging the Bengals to the tune of 258 yards for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He led his team to a 35-20 win. Then you got December 6th, 2020, Tennessee Titans. Another road game that saw Mayfield dominate an AFC opponent. Came in this matchup against the Titans. He threw for 334 yards, 4 touchdowns, while not throwing a single interception in that game. Browns end up winning 41-35. It was a shootout game. I remember that game because Tennessee is my second favorite team. But and then October 25th, 2020, I was at this game with my wife, Cincinnati Bengals, the biggest game that Mayfield has ever had. Cleveland once again came to the Bengals. He racked up 297 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an interception while completing 22 of his 28 passing attempts. Behind a stellar performance, the Browns end up squeaking out a hard-fought win, 37-34.
Was that the game where he was running down the sideline barking at Hugh because what Hugh did to him when he was here?
And he
I think I
handed him the
remember.
ball.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Here you
I was
go, you
wondering-
chump.
Yeah.
That's
I see the picture. I
Yeah.
see it right now. Yeah, he's like, here, you can have this, by the way.
Yeah. And it comes out that he didn't like Hugh because of what he did. That they treated him like he was some type of like walk on when he was a first round pick. And like I get it, Hugh had that old school mentality, but come on, man, this is the new NFL.
I think Baker got fined for that as well.
Probably.
He didn't
probably.
care.
Yeah, he didn't care. He probably
Take
didn't care.
my money. It was worth it.
Yeah.
He's and since then, since leaving the Browns, guys, like Baker has been better as far as statistically, or has he? Since leaving the Browns, he has a 21-23 record, 1-3 with the Rams, 1-5 with Carolina, and 19-15 in Tampa with 10,700 yards, 79 touchdowns, and 35 interceptions. So that touchdown to interception ratio is still there. It's still always going to be there. That's who he is. And he's had a couple of great seasons as far as yardage the last 2 years. That's why he's at 10,000 yards, because I think he was close to 3,000 each year as in Tampa. I think he had 4,000 this year. But so he's obviously doing well in Tampa. He's
4,500.
Oh, 4,500. Yeah. So that means, most of his yardage definitely was in Tampa the last 2 years.
It helps too when you got a Mike Evans over there.
And a Godwin, right?
You saw
and
him.
a Godwin. And I heard Baker say, he goes, if I know my boy Evans is on the field, I'm just throwing it up there. I'm throwing it his way. I already know he's coming down with it, man. So they got that connection too. And like you said, Godwin also. They got a really good tandem wide receiver core over there.
And they were both injured this year as well. So you got to take that in consideration. He made the best out of the situation with what he could, with what he had on the field. I'm not going to sit here and say Baker's a horrible quarterback by any means. I think a lot of Cleveland fans still love him, and that's why we're calling this the Baker Bro Show. But at the end of the day, it's just not what Cleveland needed, and neither is Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that was the answer to get rid of Baker for Deshaun.
Deshaun Watson is the boom and the bomb, dude. That's that whole hit. That's the boom and the bomb, man. That's hindsight 2020, man. That's the worst thing we could have did, man. So.
I agree 100%. But listen, at the end of the day, everybody that sits here and says that the ownership and management and Kevin Stefanski's at fault for this. Even if that were the case, say the Haslams are at fault for this. What other owner has won all out on a quarterback that has an elite presence? Unfortunately, baggage as well, but the guy was supposed to be elite. We made that leap to try to get that elite quarterback here. So I can't blame him for that. It didn't work. That's all. And it's not, you can't sit there and blame ownership for it. That guy was elite. It is not their fault that he was. Yeah, past tense. Unfortunately, that's the biggest word.
We learned it the hard way, unfortunately. It's cost us years of picks and everything else, but it's the Baker Bro show, so.
Did you put whiskey in my coffee?
Yes,
I know you probably did. You probably did.
No, that's been sitting there with whiskey in it. She poured coffee in the whiskey.
It's probably from like 3 days ago, and it's got a little ash from a cigar in it.
What? Oh, there isn't any. I drank that all, apparently. Never mind.
Honey, you use whiskey instead of creamer. Come on now.
I've done it.
Yeah. In
St.
Kentucky, the place we stayed, Jailer's Inn. It's been 3-4 years since we've been there, but they do that. They'll give you a cup of coffee and pour a little whiskey in it. I forgot what brand it was, but it was pretty good.
Good way to start your day.
Yeah, it was. That place was just a nice historic place to stay. I won't get into it, but my wife said that she heard like ghosts and stuff. She could have. I was passed out. It used to be jailer. Like they would keep people in there, and you can go into the back where they would shoot people for the death sentence, and you see bullets all on the bricks.
I'm sure there's remnants there. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So but nonetheless, it was a good experience.
There was a ghost at Sam's house. He got summoned by some kind of demon last weekend. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is the wrong podcast for that, dog.
It can be the right one.
Hey, man, I put it all out there, dog. I had a doozy last Thursday, and that doozy led into hurting all day Friday, and half a day on Saturday from a Thursday drunk. So,
jeez, I've never been that.
It was crippling.
We should.
All I'll say is I took the wife out on Thursday to beat the Valentine's Day rush for dinner.
We went
to the Mexican restaurant. I said, let's just, and she works every Saturday, so Thursday's her hump day. So I said, hey, you got your hump day in? Let's go get a dinner, blah, blah, blah. Well, I had about 4 or 5 big jumbo double top shelf margaritas.
Oh boy.
The waiter comes up to me. He's like, shots? I'm like, if you're doing one with me, let's do it. He had to go get the manager. Like, hey, can I do shots? Can I do shots with this guy? She's like, yeah, that's great. I'm doing shots with the staff. So, and then I came home, and then I went hard when I came home. I didn't stop. So that's why I was down and out. And I didn't think we were doing a show Saturday, and then the mic had hit me up, and I was on the couch on Saturday. I had one eye open. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like,
it's Saturday.
It's
Saturday. I went to bed on Wednesday. Why is it Saturday?
I didn't think we were doing a show today, bro. There ain't no way. I looked at it. It was like a half hour before the show. I'm like, dog, that ain't gonna work, bro. I can't even gather myself.
No, that would have been a funny show if you did make it, though. So we would have been ragging you the whole time.
You've seen Sam like this the whole time.
Like, Sam, wake up. So I'm up, bro.
Dude, you probably wouldn't have been able to tell my face complexion from the white in my headphones still. I was probably that.
Jeez. I remember.
It's harder the older you get. The older you get.
It's hard to recover.
The recovering times.
Yeah, I remember those days. Don't do that anymore because, like you said, the older you get, you just can't recoup as fast as you were, man. You're sitting there for 5 days like, give me some liquid IV, please. Give me some.
Man. Yeah, it was a doozy. It was a doozy.
I actually forgot you weren't on the show. I thought you were on the show Saturday. Now you
We didn't
remind
even
me
do
you
a show last week, Saturday.
But we didn't.
Or no, I can't.
Yeah,
We did.
I don't remember.
We did.
Yeah,
we
you
did
guys
it
did.
on.
You
Oh,
called
yeah,
me. You called me. It was like 15 minutes of go time. Hey, you want to do a show? I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about, bro? And I like I said, I had an all day recoup Friday, and then Saturday I was on the uphill slide, but not ready to be on live.
Yeah.
He was like, Saturday.
Hell no,
It's
bro.
like, why do you want to do a Saturday show on a Friday, bro?
Right.
It's like, no, it's Saturday.
I finally was pulling my thumb out in the fetal position off the couch, and Mike's like, "You ready to do a show?" I'm like, "Bro, I
ain't doing
I
nothing.
didn't drink that Friday night, so
Yeah,
I was
that's fine.
ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were. You were up at I remember you saying I was up at 4:30 this morning. I'm ready to get it. I'm like, more power to you, brother.
That was me this morning. I was up my kid woke me up about 7. Yeah, 7. She woke me up. I was like, Dad, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, it looks like I'm getting up. Because I definitely know my pregnant wife ain't getting up. And I ain't waking her up. Because that would be a different. I wouldn't be here if I did. I'd be like, Mike, I'm in the emergency room. What happened? My wife stabbed me. Because I woke her up. With a fork. That was sitting outside of her back because she was eating a cinnamon bun the night before. She took that same fork and just stabbed me. No, nonetheless, I guess we're done. We're done here. That's the Baker Mayfield show. Listen, I've after doing this, I've learned to still love Baker. I know I hate him mid-season because he's winning in a horrible division, another jab. But nonetheless, he's still doing what he needs to do there. Let's see what happens this year with him as teams get better in the draft, as they get their quarterbacks in place. And again, he's going on a different offensive coordinator, so we're going to see what happens with him this year. But good, best of luck, Baker. If you ever watch this by any chance, as a Browns fan, as a Browns fan, I'm over. I guess I'm more. I guess after therapying myself through this, I guess I was more mad that the regime gave up on you after that injury, more or less, than you leaving, because it wasn't your fault. It was their fault. They went for a quarterback who they thought would be better. They gambled. They rolled the dice like Mike did. Mike said, thankful that we have an ownership that are willing to risk it all, but hopefully they learn from that.
It brings something up too, that when he was in Carolina for that short stint, I want to say that might have been our season opening game. And I know it was Baker. And I'm like, yet again, I'm going to bring this up. I was in Columbus, and both times I was in Columbus watching Browns game, and we won. I might have to go get me an apartment or something.
Every Sunday, you just got to go to that apartment.
I gotta go to Columbus because for some reason I remember we were out with friends and we were going to watch a concert that night, and we found a Browns backer bar, which was weird because I remember I'm like walked into a couple bars, the Bengals games on. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Oh, we're Bengals down here. I'm like, well, you bumped your head. So we found a Browns backer bar, a really cool place. It's actually where I proposed to my wife at that same day.
Oh, that's cute.
Which was pretty cool. But I remember that one thing. I'm not a Baker hater, wasn't. But when we were playing them, I'm like, let's beat Baker. We could beat Baker. Let's start this season. So,
one last comment. Dan Guile says Baker ain't my favorite son. LOL. Baker screwed Baker here. You're right. He did. He played with that injury. We just talked about that. If he would have and again, I get it. I get why he did. Sam reminded me it was a contract year. He wanted to get off that money. He wanted that big money at the time. And he knew that in order for him to get that long-term extension, that good money, he had to play through it. Maybe he thought he could, but he ended up causing more damage than good. And now we can see when he's healthy what he can do, because the last 2 years in Tampa is what he would have been here.
We could have got him a lot cheaper than Deshaun Watson, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man. I still enjoy watching the guy play. If the Tampa's on and they're playing somebody, I'm like, I'll click on. We are not playing. I'll watch Tampa. Check out what Baker's doing. And
Angel, you remember that post I made on Twitter that went viral and it had like a 500,000 views?
Yeah, it was one of
one bad game.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you talk about Baker now, people love the guy because they see what he is now. But I'm telling you, now I could be wrong, but Chad even confirmed this because he was doing more of a podcast than we were when Baker was on his highs and lows. people did not like him consistently here. I do remember that because I'm the type of guy, like, once we get a quarterback or once my team has a player, I'm all in until I'm no longer all in. Like, I didn't want Baker, but when they drafted him, I was like, I'm all in. Let me like this dude. Even despite some issues I thought he had, he was growing on me, and I learned to love him. And I remember fans saying, he's not the guy, he's not the guy, he's not the guy. And I'm like, dude just won 11 games. Dude's playing injured. Like, he has a torn labrum, and we're sitting here thinking this guy's Superman. Like, give the dude some grace. And then when he leaves and he starts winning, now they're large percentage of those fans convert over. Are you? Yeah. Oh, you're playing that longest incomplete pass?
Yes.
Dude, you should set that up. So, yeah. So what you want to set it up again? So Mike's about to play the longest. So he's in the record books in the NFL, the longest incomplete pass ever in the NFL. I didn't know this until Sam brought it up today. I didn't get to see it. I want to see it.
Damn!
I think the best part was the Baltimore Raven running into the field goal post and just getting laid out by the field goal post.
Hey, you want to spice the game up? Put that field goal post right up in the beginning of the end zone again.
Oh yeah, like
remember them days? Whoa!
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was obviously it was 2020 because there's no fans in the field.
That's the second half. It was a Hail Mary attempt before they went into the second half. That was
looked like he was at about the 39-yard line or so.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it again. He was he launched it at the 39.
So he holds a record for the longest.
Dude, put that on. Put that on our page on the reels.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Baker Bacon.
Well, yes, everybody, don't forget March 30th. Sunday, March 30th, we will be at the IX Center for the Piston Power Cup. It'll be me, Angel, and Sam. We're going to be talking some Brown stuff. If you're there, feel free to come up. We're going to get some stickers. We got some business cards to hand out. We're going to be talking Browns. If you want to talk some Browns, you can get on the show even.
Yeah, we're rolling the dice on that. That's going to be either good or bad, but we're gonna do it. So if you want to come on, if you have a little bit to drink and you just have something to get off your chest, to Andrew Barry, to Kevin, to Watson, you just need it out. We're gonna have a mic there for you.
If you start talking crap about Kevin, Angel might swing. Just
I might throw my Celsius at you.
Yeah, we will be there March 30th from 11 till 2. Hanging out.
That's on a Sunday.
Yeah, so our Saturday show that week will be on a Sunday, but we're gonna be hanging out with the guys from Redline. They'll be there as well doing their Pittsburgh show, I believe, right after us. So that'll be fun. But yeah, until what's up?
What I envision, like, after the show is like we're lining up like Anchorman meeting in the. You ever seen Anchorman where they meet in the alley and they're fighting the different news channel stations are fighting back and forth.
A real
dude. That would be hilarious. We should record something where we like see each other.
Superimpose our faces on that.
We'll put our logo there and then their logo.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That's funny.
Sorry, I just had to say that. We got to go, though. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like anything. Like all our socials. Follow us. Until next time, like always, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Have a good one, guys.
Sam will be with us this Tuesday. I got to confirm that with Chad, but I think Sam might be back this Tuesday, if not next week. Well, yeah, we'll see you guys Tuesday. We'll come up with something.
You might get to see this ugly mug twice
in 1 week.